Hello and welcome back to Fatal 12. On the last episode we found out the plan to stop you and started the plan. Alan was caught and was shot, and now you is in the middle of a broadcast to show that he's serious. But I believe, unbeknownst to him, this is currently Rinka he has as a hostage, meaning if he tried to pull the trigger, it wouldn't work, which is in our favour, but I don't think he knows that. With that though, we should probably see how things turn out, because things might not go as planned. As we just said, Alan got shot. Anyway, I'm the one responsible for the bombing at Emeka's Girls' University High School. That makes me the responsible for the death of an innocent girl. Of course, you only believe her to be innocent, but if you ask me, anyone without any concern for the world at large is anything but innocent. Even if you watch and read up on the news, that's still more than an excuse. Let's talk about me for a bit. Hugh lowers the tone of his voice a bit. Is this going to be a flashback? I think it might be. Oh no, we're just switching perspectives. What the hell? Is this really happening in Japan? Mom poses the question to herself as she watches the stream. The fact that this is happening right after she learned about the bombs that were found earlier takes her by surprise. The boy has both a gun and a hostage. What's more, he's already used the gun on someone. His intent to make his way up to the observatory has set off an explosion has been made clear. Mao cannot believe this is occurring in Japan of all places. The boy makes it clear that he's doing this for the people like her, those who can't quite believe this is really happening. Mao is unable to consider herself a mere bystander in all this though. He's the culprit. He just claimed responsibility for what happened at Emeka. That makes him the one responsible for Naomi's death. Naomi just wasn't an underclassman to Mao, she was a close friend. Let's talk about me for a bit. The boy switches topics to himself as Mao and the rest of Japan watches. This is the moment she has to pay attention to. Life in the country I was born in, life in the country I was born is. Where? I'm assuming that's supposed to be in, not is. So I'll just say in. Life in the country I was born in was the complete opposite of what the people of Japan are used to. Even the name of my country wouldn't ring a bell for you. Every day was a fight for survival. My father died before I was born, while my brother died soon after. I spent my life alone, right from the beginning. So your mother... Okay. The only reason I was able to survive was due to a certain institution I was taken into. The institution was a hospital that doubled as an orphanage. It was full of children like you, orphans who had no one to take care of them. There was a Japanese woman who we would call Mama. She worked as a doctor in the afternoons and at the orphanage for the rest of the time. According to him, the lady According to him, this lady also used her spare time to train new doctors. Not only was this place rife with conflict, it was also far from sanitary. There simply wasn't enough doctors to take care of all the patients. What's more, she took as much time as possible to look after the children as well. I would argue that you could potentially raise the children to become doctors. Two birds, one stone. Can't help with the sanitary thing, but might help, especially, it would help them later in life if they got that far, because obviously, as they're describing, it's a cruel place to live. But, I mean, I know it's obviously robbing them of a choice, but it's kind of necessary, I guess. Because if they need more doctors, and it's a good way to... well, it would be a good way to keep the children occupied is the best word, I guess. Because I mean, there's medical books they could read and study from. Gives them knowledge. I don't know. I'm justifying this. Anyway, we were able to live thanks to her efforts. Even she took the time to make food for us every now and then. Just every now and then. Not every day, not all the time. At the time being around her helped me to understand what it must be like to have a mother. There's a limit to how much one person can do on their own though. Physically, mentally, and financially. That is true. That would be very taxing, especially physically. Medical treatment requires proper funding. There was no limit to where the expenses can go. Medicine, equipment, personnel, etc. The institution itself couldn't run without that funding either. They needed an incredible amount of money just to provide the most basic of necessities. The number of patients and orphans only increased. As such, both the hospital and institution constantly lacked the money to run properly. Mama sought aid from Japan, her own country. Of course, they wouldn't provide her as the money she needed. Money gathered by non-profit organizations to aid such places existed, but it wasn't enough. That money wasn't provided solely for their institution either. No place on Earth is able to provide infinite funding. In the end, the people there opted to ask you for help by setting up a funding service on the internet. You're all aware of how that went, aren't you? We barely received anything, and Mama eventually died from being overworked. That was akin to losing his own mother. For the institution itself, they had lost one of their major pillars supporting it. Mama used to say that the kindness of Japanese people would make things work out. They would come to the aid of the fellow countrymen, no matter what. I don't think that's true for anyone. The only, maybe a bit of a pessimistic view, but the only reason people will help is because they know them personally. Yeah. The people of this country would feel for her plight as she worked hard in a far-off land. She truly believed in the people of her homeland. I believed her words, because they came from her. It was all a lie, though. You people didn't care. Not about my country and not about Mama. I wouldn't say that's a lie, more so just she is incorrect. Calling it a lie is implying that your mother intentionally deceived you, which I wouldn't say that's true. I think she was trying to give you hope. You runs down the events of his life that have led up to now. That's just... Mao struggles to find the right words. Based on his age, Mao had to have been born during the whole ordeal. Despite this, she had no clue that any of what he just said had happened. The fact that he had brought a fellow Japanese into the equation settled things. I mean, she hates this boy for what he did to Naomi. Just thinking about him makes her angry. Still, she finally realizes that she should direct that anger to herself too. Age is of no consequence here. The general apathy of the public killed that woman. I mean, it's not just of Japan though. So, I mean, yeah, fair enough. They were the one who asked, and they're the one who didn't respond. But the whole country didn't respond either. Obviously, that's the whole point of their organization. None of it serves to pardon the actions that resulted in Naomi's death, though. It is, however, a fact that Mao has no means to refute his claims. I mean, let's be fair, right? He targeted a school of same-age children for something that happened to him in his childhood. Meaning, they were children and had no finance to actually support them with. Fair enough, it was on the internet, but guess what? They still didn't have anything money to send in the first place. Wouldn't a more appropriate target be the elderly? or like business places, because they're the ones who were old enough or financially stable enough to support but chose not to. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why target people of the same age or younger? People who had no way to help in the first place. Anyway. I'm thinking too hard about motives of a crazy organization. I also just noticed that they both have necklaces. I only noticed Rinka had her necklace, which I assume is still Rinka, obviously because it blocked out the eyes. And also changed her hair, which I never really commented on. Unless his necklace is actual dog tags. They look like dog tags, the more I think about it. Everyone there listens to you attentively. After that, I became a mercenary, though I was treated more like a disposable tool. I took out any and all opponents with ease. I was talented in the art of war. A natural marksman. Okay, Kratos. I did what I did because I had no choice. His continued survival may not have been what he desired. Survival on the battlefield only yields the death of others. After this, even after Mama's efforts to teach him compassion, as such, he disposed of his emotion in order to get used to the idea of killing others. The bits of emotion left over from the process remained sealed and hidden within him. Also, he could progress forwards without losing his sense of self. In exchange, he found a new reason to carry on. I was only ever taught one thing after that: become a hero. He speaks of how they taught him that people become heroes in death, about how they can offer their lives for the sake of their beliefs. In doing so, no one can claim they were wrong. No, they can claim they were wrong, you just can't refute them. This may be, I might just not be understanding, but what he's saying is, what you is currently saying is that Hitler was right because he's dead and died for his beliefs. But he's not. And the whole world agrees that he's not. But apparently because Hitler is dead and he cannot refute it, it is in fact that everyone else in the world is wrong. What is this kid's arguments? I know I'm not progressing, it's because I'm too busy trying to understand his logic, or the logic that was written for him, but he was taught that if he dies for his beliefs, that makes him a hero. But obviously that is not true. Okay, alright, anyway. Dying in order to protect what's important to them is the one true way for people to become heroes. Nope. I came to realize that Mama had become a hero in her death. She stuck to her values till the very end. She was doing the good things in life, therefore she is a hero. Yes, fair enough. She may not have had the tools, she may not have had the funding, she still tried. It makes her a hero. But that logic does not apply to everyone. That's why I wanted to become a hero myself. I eventually ended up at Knowles Japan's branch, thanks to telling one of their leaders about my past when I came to Japan. The fighting at this country's indifference was a bit difficult for me to understand, but it resonated with me nonetheless. I could become a hero while getting my revenge on the world. Saying that, Yu tugs his hostage towards the elevator. My comrades should have the observatory under their command now. Don't bother using the emergency stairways either. I have other people stationed there as well. Leaving that warning behind, he makes his way to the elevator. His phone is pointed away from his face once again inside. He doesn't want the stream to notice his pained expression as the door closes. The girl he had taken hostage cries the entire way up. She's visibly shaken too. Yu feels no compassion whatsoever for her. She's about to die. Why should he? If he feels anything towards her, it's gratitude that she hasn't made much of a fuss otherwise. The observatory is a mere 1-minute ride in the elevator away. Yu spends this time reflecting on his past he had just spoken about. The idea of people getting emotional over his story does not but annoy him. Well, does nothing but annoy him. Anyway, has anyone in this country gone through the same miserable experiences as him? He hates those who consider themselves different from the masses because they feel a speck of concern over events like the ones he spoke of. So he hates people who think they're different because they are concerned. Okay. It means nothing if no effort is made to change things. Okay. The elevator continues to climb to the tower as he ponders this. Before long, they reach the observatory. After a brief floor announcement, the elevator opens. What are you doing? Upon departing, he finds himself staring down the muzzle of a gun. A woman with a freakishly muscular body is pointing a high-caliber revolver between his eyes. Yay, Odette! It's none other than number 11, against whom he had fought previously. Your game's over, kid. A gunshot rings out. He was convinced his comrades were waiting for him. That led him to letting his guard down. He hadn't received a word about this either. That's why he wasn't able to make a move before the gunshot went off. He remains unscathed, however. She hadn't aimed for him. Instead, her target was the phone he had been using during the events. The phone flung back into the elevator where it breaks apart in midair. You waste no time in readying the same gun he shot Alan with immediately after. I forgot about this, bro. Remember, I have a hostage. And clearly, a familiar voice shouts out from beside him. The person said voice belongs to takes a gun out of their own, but doesn't shoot. Instead, they use it They use it as a blunt device, swinging it at Yu's hand is holding with his own. Too slow. Yu evades, making sure to keep his bag safe as well. When the girl's swing misses, she bent over wide. When she is bent over and wide open to retaliation. A black substance oozes onto the floor from her hair. I'm assuming dye. Underneath the ooze, Golden Streak reveals himself. Yo. Shishi Myrinka. Yu pieces together that the hostage she took was her in disguise. Although surprised, his movements are not affected. He reflexively fires his weapon at her. However, dealing with the two opponents in close space like this proves reckless, even for him. Odette gets a grip of his clothes and violently pulls him towards her. The shots fired at Renka go astray as a result, piercing right through the elevator ceiling. Odette takes aim at his back with her own gun. Space between his back and his bag, to be precise. She fires 2 shots, both hitting the shoulder straps of his bag. That is some accurate shooting. Whoa. One slight miscalculation would have resulted in hitting the bomb concealed within the bag. Fate may have kept him alive, but he still would have been seriously injured from an explosion at such close proximity. And at a height. Don't forget the height. Odette's marksmanship ensures that she hits the target and severs the bag from you. Back to this CG. She does this because she knows just how much damage the bomb can cause. Yu redirects his attention towards the bag so as not to drop it. He's fine with getting hurt himself. but there wouldn't be enough victims were the bomb to go off here. His decision to prioritize the bag was the exact opposite of Odette's. She delivers a swift, powerful kick to his back while his eyes are glued to the floor. Being almost double his weight, Odette's kick sent him flying. Odette grins from ear to ear as she sees him take to the air. She isn't even concerned about the bag. Watch out. Ringer tosses her gun and lunges at... Why did you toss the gun? And lunges for the bag. She goes in head first, arms fully extended. The impact against the floor would likely cause the bomb to go off. How fragile is this? The realization is what causes her to jump without a moment's thought. She manages to catch the bag with both her hands as both of her body and face continue to skid across the floor. Fair enough. While she's able to prevent the bomb from going off, her face now feels like it has just been peeled away from her skull. Why is this happening? I don't know. Why are you trying to blow up the Eiffel Tower, the Tokyo Tower? The bomb has been stolen from him mere moments before he could accomplish his goal. His outcry is a result of letting his emotions take control. It is the only thing left he can do. And it probably was the scariest moment of my life. A bag with a bomb inside almost crashed to the floor. I would have had to bear the brunt of the explosion had I failed to catch it. But it's an experience I've been through once before. I wouldn't have died this time, but who knows how badly I would have been burned. My face would have been unrecognizable. My actions helped pull us through the initial phase of our plan. That much I'm confident about. There's a bomb in here, damn it. Don't just ignore it. Oh, my bad. Throwing a feint was the only way I could get it away from him. So, glad you knew what to do after that. I'd normally be surprised to see that she's still smiling during this, but now I know that this is what she lives for. Yeah, fair enough. Things are going just as we planned. Why are you two the only ones here? There's no trace of any customers, no used comrades. We are the only three here. Well, we did your little buddies in. Was hoping they'd be as strong as you, but nah, just a bunch of small fry. There were 10 of them. Numbers ain't no thing when they're all pushovers. But if there weren't even 3 people like you, then what? But if there were even 3 people like you, then we'd have been in trouble. I told them about you, so why didn't they let you through? You couldn't have forced your way through without causing a stir. What's more, they kept in contact with me and never mentioned anything. Oh, you didn't notice? That was me sending those messages. I played you because I had to. There was every chance you'd go wild right away at the entrance if I took down your pals and evacuated everyone. You're bound to round up a good number of casualties no matter where you blow yourself up in Tokyo. That's why we made this plan to take the bomb away from him. His lack of consideration for his own life made things far more difficult to handle than they would normally. I was worried when Odette said that she would handle all his comrades, but she really did manage to pull it off. You know the rest, I'm sure. We're gonna beat the crap out of you and get you to talk. I already told you that I don't plan on dying so easily, didn't I? He directs that line straight to me. And then he raises a gun and points it my way. I mean, that's the one who's willing to shoot you. But I'm not his target. It's most likely the bomb. Fair enough, actually. Taking his focus off Odette proves to be a mistake, though. She isn't one to that slip past her. Making use of this reach provides her use of the reach provided by her height advantage, she lunges another kick right at his jaw before he can fire. You barely dodges in time, but Odette doesn't let up. She continues with an unrelenting barrage of punches and kicks. How about this? He whips out a knife with his left hand. Odette backsteps. She must have figured she'll get slashed if he tries to kick him again. Yu takes advantage of her hesitation by tripping her up with a leg sweep. It causes her to lose balance, but she manages to kick him in the stomach during the fall. I don't know how you would manage to do that, but I'll go Odette, I guess. Yu remains armed even after that, and he fires his weapon at her. That dreadful bang echoes across the observatory. He fires 4 consecutive shots. It makes the exact same sound as when he shot Alan earlier. Regardless, not one shot hits Odette because her kick from before has knocked him off balance. This feels like a childish game of I hit you, because if you've been kicked back, I don't think you would have sure I'd say you can get 1 shot off, but four shots as you're falling backwards after being kicked in the stomach. I understand he was trained as a mercenary, but still, there's a distinct clang as the bullets ricochet off the floor. Both of them collapse to the ground. Okay, guess that means we win. Last one standing. He was the first one to spring back up, likely due to a smaller frame. He readies his knife and flings it at Odette. As soon as he throws it, he chases straight after towards her. Odette doesn't have time to get back up and instead opts to draw her gun while prone. So she's not planning to dodge. She fires at the same moment I notice her action. Yu does the same. The sound of both guns going off overlap. His shot is directed neither at me or Odette, though. Maybe because he's firing while under a false sprint. So if it's not directed, he's not aiming at the bomb, is he? Meanwhile, Odette's shot somehow connects with his knife he had thrown. She managed to shoot a thrown knife, which causes it to whirl up towards the ceiling. Yu's shot bounces off a small crevice in the floor, sending it straight into Odette's hand. That's what I think anyway. It barely misses her hand and strikes her gun instead. It breaks apart and flies across the room. Not bad. But we ain't done yet. 1 down, 1 to go. He points his gun at Odette. He has a toy back. For a brief moment, I'm unable to discern what happened. For some reason, Yu lets his gun fall to the floor. Shortly after that, I noticed blood dripping from his hand, so I'm assuming she just stabbed him in the hand with my own knife. His words helped me piece it all together. Odette must have caught the knife she deflected earlier and threw it back at him just in time. Anyway, back to business. What's that sound? The faint ringing of the police sirens can be heard from the surface. I'm amazed it's taken them this long to arrive. Considering the gravity of the situation, it may not just be the regular police and fire brigade either. The riot police may have also come. Having noticed this, Yu snatches up his gun and sprints towards the door, leading him to the emergency stairs. Ewan getting away. He fails to anticipate that the stairways will be blocked off by a certain someone, however. You won't get past me. You've been shot. I've just noticed everyone's got things around their necks. You weren't bluffing. You were bluffing as well. You must have figured everything out in the moment. I'll disguise himself as one of the staff, but he had accounted for the possibility of getting shot. With that in mind, he made sure to both wear a bulletproof vest and tape additional plating around the part of his stomach I was most likely to be targeted. I mean, fair enough. But I figured he knew Alan was here. Apparently he went with the rubber plating to ensure the sound wouldn't give off the fact that he was okay. The blood was fake too. He'd gotten a hold of some previously. All of this, including myself being taken hostages and Odette neutralizing him, was part of the plan. Also, I think this is this not the most any number of participants have been? There's never been any more than 4 participants in the same area, right? Anyway, I wasn't able to get to do anything once they were locked in combat, but that was also expected. All I had to do was make sure the bomb didn't go off. You have 2 options: come with us willingly, or we force you to do so. Not only is you injured, but Alan is also has his own gun. I feel like he's going to get past Alan, but we'll have to find out about that next time. Hopefully you're curious to what happens, and hopefully I can see you there. With that, goodbye.